oriented programming, but it is not a complete object oriented program. So many object oriented features are missing in it. So it's not a complete OOP language, but TypeScript is a complete OOP language, object oriented programming language. So in object oriented programming, first we need to understand some basic points. So what you need to know in object oriented programming is you need to understand about modules. First, you need to understand about modules in OOP. How we can handle with the modules object. Actually, this is same like your JavaScript also have modules. So same. Actually, technically, what is a module? Technically, a module comprises of set of module is a set of functions. It is a set of variables, and it is a set of classes. It is a set of contracts. What are contracts? I will tell you. It is a set of templates. All are defined in a module. So module comprises of all these functions, variables, classes, contracts, templates, everything present inside a module. So generally, we have a module system. To handle modules, we need a module system. To handle modules, we need a module system. So in order to work with modules, we need a module system. Module systems, various module systems are present. So various module systems are present. Various module systems like to handle modules. So we need module system, and so many module systems are there, like CommonJS. CommonJS is a module system. CommonJS is one module system used by JavaScript technologies. JavaScript based technologies use a module system called CommonJS. We have UMD, Universal Module Distribution. Universal Module Distribution, UMD. We have AMD, Asynchronous Module Distribution. Asynchronous Module Distribution. So many module systems are there. We have like CommonJS, we have like UMD, like we have AMD, Asynchronous Module System, like that. Now, generally, if you are working in JavaScript based technologies, you need a separate module system to install. Without installing module system, you cannot work with modules. In JavaScript based projects, if you have to use modules, you need a module system. And by default, your computers are not enabled with module system. By default, your computers can run JavaScript, but they cannot run JavaScript modules. For that, we need a separate module system to install. And you see, this is our TypeScript project. In the TypeScript project, it is using CommonJS module system in the tsconfig file. That means TypeScript by default have a module system. And what is that module system? CommonJS. We can change it. We can change. But if you are changing a module system, make sure that you have installed that module system. So every module system have a different approach. So we will follow this default approach. Whatever the module system is there, we will follow that approach. That is CommonJS is the module system. So TypeScript by default comes with a module system. So here TypeScript comprises TypeScript uses CommonJS module system. TypeScript uses CommonJS module system. It is enabled with CommonJS module system. So it is by default, when you install TypeScript, automatically TypeScript is installed with modules. Why we need module system? Actually, modules are required. Modules are required to build library for application. Modules are required to build library for application. Technically, modules are required to build a library for application. So we need modules for building library. We need modules for building library. So modules are required to build a library for application. What is a library? What is a library? Obviously, you know that a library comprises of all those above. Library comprises of functions, variables, am I right? Values, we call them as. It contains classes, it contains contracts, it contains templates, etc. All these are present in a library. So modules are used in projects for building a library. We build library. And what is advantage is you can export and import library into project. You can export and import library into project. So that is the main concept about module system. We can export or import library into project. That is important. So TypeScript by default enabled with a module system. How this will work, we will see that. How this will work, we will see how the module system works. And very important is actually the TypeScript file scope. The TypeScript file scope is module scope. TypeScript file scope is module scope. That means whatever you written in a TypeScript file, it is considered as a module. A TypeScript file is considered as a module. We don't declare any modules. TypeScript file itself is considered as a module. For example, see, I will design here separate folder system. I will maintain a separate folder in our project. Just for your understanding sake. So what I will do is I will create here a new folder. I will name it as library. In that library folder, I will add another folder. In the library folder, I am adding a folder, modules. Modules is the folder. In the library, I am having modules. And we can have others also. So many things we can have. Initially, one folder is there, modules. Okay. Now in this, one more folder is there. This folder is app. Now we need to use that library in this app. Whatever the library is built, we have to use that in the app application. So first we will build the library and that we have to use in our app. It can be used in any app. Suppose you are having several applications, you can import this library into another application and you can use it. The main responsibility of building library is reusability consents. Reusability consents. That means you can inject, import, and use from any location. Wherever you need that functionality, you can just import the library and you can use it. How to build that? Now you will see in the modules, I'm adding a new file. I'm adding a new file in the modules. And the file name I just given as, suppose, product.ts. I given the module name product.ts, any name product.ts. Now this is, now whatever you write inside this TS file, actually this is your module. That means this is your module. This entire TypeScript file scope is module. And in this module, you know, you can have variables, functions, and so many things. First, I will declare a variable. So I will put username. It is an string type. And I am just displaying that username. So hello, some John, something like this. I defined that. And I am writing a function. So inside this module, we have a function. Or this is like, because I given product, I will give product name. Product name is a variable. And here I will give as name. So that is some Samsung TV, like this. And function, I am giving a function called product details. Product details is a function. This product details function is defined in a module. And this product details function is printing some details, console.log. It is printing product name is equal to whatever name is there. So that is product name. That is the variable name. That's simple concept. In a module, we have a variable and a function. We want this in our application. We want to use this function in that application. We want to use that in our application. Now, if you want to use this function in application, first point here, you need to know this very important. So here, every member in a module is local in access, or you can better say is private in access. That means it is not every member in a module is private in access. That means it is not accessible. It is not accessible outside the module. Every member in a module is private in access. It is not accessible outside the module. So that means the functions, the classes, whatever you declare in a module, they can be accessed and used only in that module. So what we have to do is, in order to access outside module, you have to mark it with export. We have to mark it with export. In order to access outside the module, you have to mark it as an export. Outside module, you have to mark it export. Mark it with export. That means syntactically. So export syntax. Syntactically, export, so function and the function name, like product details. That is the function name. That's how we need to configure. So what is the purpose of export? The purpose of export is it is going to export the function and it is going to make the function available and accessible outside the module. If you don't define export, it is not accessible outside the module. It is available only inside the module, right? So here, the first point is that, so I am configuring this and you see I am writing here export function and the function name. Any member, if you want to make it available outside the module, that member should be marked as export. Okay. Now, another point is in a module, several functions can export. In a module, several functions can export, not only one function. So we have product details, that is the function. Suppose we have another function, export function, category details. Category details is a function which is printing console.log as category electronics, something like this. We can have just normal message we are defining. That means there can be several functions marked as export. Now here, one more important is, as of now, there are two functions marked for exporting. Now we need to use them in our application. We have to use them in our application. To use in the application, you see, let's go to the project and go to app folder. In the app folder, I am creating a new file, app.js or ts. I am creating app.ts, TypeScript file. Okay. In this app.ts file, I want to use those functions. In app.ts file, we need to use those functions. If you want to use the functions, we have to import the functions. We have to use the keyword import. Import is used for importing the functions or the members from a module. You can import the members from any module by using import. That means here another point is you can access and use the function in any application by importing the module. By importing the module, you can access and use the function in any application by importing the module. You have to import the module. How we import the module? So syntax for this is important. How to import the module and how to use the module. You see now, I want to use that in app. So I'm using import from the file location. We have to define the file location. And what you need to import, you have to tell them here by using a curly brace. In the curly brace block, you have to mention what are the functions to import and from which file to import. Actually, that file is present in library. That means we need to come out of the current folder, go to library folder. In that we have a file called, another folder called modules. In that modules we have product.ts. So we have to import like this. // that means it will come out of the current folder. In that we have library. In that library we have modules. In the modules we have product. That file we have to mention. Only file name is considered as module name. You don't need to use the file extension .js. You have to use only the file name. That means the file name is considered as the module name. Now in this module, you have two functions. We have to import them. What are the two functions we are having? So two functions we are having: product details, category details. You need to import them. So there is no order: category details, product details. Remember, you are importing the function. You are not calling the function here. That means you will not use any parenthesis. Parenthesis is for calling the function. We are first importing the function, then we have to call the functions. And here comes very important concept here. See, this is fine. That means you can see here, let me give an option how to import. See, like this. This is the syntax. I will give it. So this is the syntax for importing the content, like this. So by using import, so whatever the functions are there, we can import from that location. So that means a module can contain, usually here important point is a module can contain multiple functions marked as export. Multiple functions marked as export. A module can contain multiple functions marked as export. You can have multiple functions marked as export. That is important. So here, when they are marked as export, some more rules are there. Some more rules are nothing but here, any one function, or you can say member, any one member can be marked as default export. Can be marked as default export. Any one member can be marked as default export. So the default export is important. Any one member can mark as default export. So that means multiple cannot have default exports. Multiple cannot have default exports. Only one can be default export. One member can be default export. There cannot be multiple default export. Default export. Any one function member can be marked as default export. That means the point C here clearly, this is very important to understand. See, in this, now you are exporting this. Observe carefully. In this product, one function is marked as default. And if any, remember, in a module, there can be only one default. And when it is marked as default, while importing, you cannot use curly brace. That means you see when it is marked as default, while importing, it is not used like this. It is not used in a curly brace. Just what you have to do is, you can just mark it as product details like this, product details. You can directly mark as product details and just comma. That means generally what happens is sometimes we will have a module in that only one function will be there, and that function will be the default export. In that case, what we do is we can simply put default so that I don't need to use any curly brace. I can just access that and I can use it. I can directly access without using any blocks. This curly brace block is used. It is used only if they are not marked as default. If it is marked as default, that means this is not marked as default. That is important. That means this is not default. That means two options are here. So this is marked as what? Default. this is marked as default. It is marked as default, and this is not default. That is not default. So if anything is marked as default, you can directly use it. If not, you have to put in curly brace. Usually we use, if a function is having only one, then we use this. But usage is same. Anywhere usage is same. How we can use those functions here? Simple. We have to call the function category details is the function and product details is the function. Direct. We are just calling the function. Automatically, they will perform the functionality. And remember, in a module system, if you compile this app.js, whatever the modules linked to it, all are compiled. That means it uses a mechanism called dependency injection. By using that dependency injection mechanism, it identifies the dependencies of that particular module, locates the dependencies, and it will compile those dependencies and extract everything into one file, and it will take care about everything. You need to just run it. That means actually we have two files now, product TS, app TS. Now we need to transcompile both of them in order to convert into JavaScript. No need to do that. You just compile your main application. In that it will identify the dependencies and compile all of them. So for example, see now here in app.ts, in this app.ts, so only TS file is present. And in modules, only TS file is present. We will compile the main application. It will compile all dependencies automatically. So we will compile the main application, open in the folder. Okay, command prompt. You can compile from terminal itself directly. And I will open this app in command prompt. Okay. This is the location. Okay, we will open that app in the command prompt. Here we need to simply compile tsc app.ts. TypeScript is using a module system. It can identify all the dependencies and compile all its dependencies. And you can see everything is compiled. And you can observe now in the project what you can do. You can see automatically product.js is also converted. But we are not compiling product.js. Transcompiling we are not doing for product. But it is done. Earlier we have to do every file manually, but it is automatically done because it is a dependency of app. It is a dependency of app. Automatically it generates everything. And observe now when we run that app.js. So that means node app.js. It should execute those two results and display. That means the category name electronics and the name is Samsung Tip. Just I written a small example. We will build large library now. We will learn how to build the complex libraries by using these approaches. This is module system. Why this is important? Because your complete Angular library is built with this module system. That means in Angular, in order to touch any code, you have to first know about modules. Without knowledge of modules, you can't handle. And I haven't shown anything new concept up to now, because this is already there in JavaScript also. JavaScript also supports module systems, but JavaScript requires external module system to install in order to compile and run it. But in TypeScript, internally, everything is defined, configured. You have to just use that module system. That means this is not a new concept for people who know JavaScript. Already in JavaScript, module system is there in the same way. But here advantage is inbuilt module system is available. We are using it. What is the module system inbuilt available here? CommonJS. So now this is the example I designed. So one function, and very important is here, I will give the example for you. These notes I will upload into the GitHub. So for your reference. So in the example, what I done step by step, I will give you. In this example, first I add following folders and files. Just for your convenience sake, easy understanding sake, I will take a screenshot for this. That means we need to add these two files. I will take a screenshot for that. Snap. Okay. And this is just this is the file system we added. This is enough. These two folders and files we are adding, that I will give you in the note for your reference. Okay, these are the files we are adding. And in that, so JS files, you don't need to do anything. That means two folders are there, app folder, library folder. In library, one more folder is modules. So what is the code we have to write now? The code in go to product.ts. In product.ts, we have to write the code. In product.ts, we need to add this logic. So this is the code I have written in product.ts. That is the code I have written. That means I will remove this and I will keep it simple now. Suppose name, I will just give as product name, just product name. You know that after every modification, we need to compile it. We have to recompile and define it. So let's compile and run this, and you can see it will get that output and display, right? So now this is the code. Let me copy that. This is in the product TS file. And next we have to go to app.ts. In app.ts, we have to import and use it. It's very simple. We have to import and we have to use this here. And a single application can import multiple modules. You can import multiple modules. That means I created only one module. There can be several modules. Categories information in a category module. Product information in a product module. You can import those two libraries. You have to import separately. For example, see, what I am doing here is I am just creating this category details. I removed it from here. And I will add another file, category.ts. In that, I am adding it. And in this, I marked it as default. That means every module have its own default to import. Now we need to access these two and use in app.ts. In app.ts, how to import those two separate libraries now. Now we have to use import. What is the first one? Category details. Category details from library modules category. Your Visual Studio have IntelliSense, which will automatically pick up the dependencies and load. Otherwise, you have to write manually, right? And another library also we have to import. Import product details from that report. We have to import all the modules that we need for our application. All the modules we need to import. So later in Angular, you will learn a technique called lazy loading. In that lazy loading technique, you can load only the module that is required for that situation. For example, now I am accessing product details function. I am not using category details, but category details is imported. Now during the application runtime, is this module loaded into memory or not? Is categories module loaded into memory or not? It is loaded, but you are not using it. So we can implement a lazy loading mechanism where it will load only the module which is being used for that situation. Later, if dynamically categories details user is accessing, it will load that module then. That is what asynchronous. I told you Angular is asynchronous. It is using a modular system. That means it will load only what is required for the situation. That you will understand and you can implement practically in your Angular. Initially, I am using product details. I am using category details. This is another approach. We are maintaining separate files. We are configuring. Remember, if the category is not marked as default, if it is not marked as default, you cannot do like this. We have to configure that in a block. You need to define that in a block. So there can be multiple. There can be multiple. And functionality will be same. Now you have to just run tsc app.ts and node app.js, and it will execute that. So this time we are managing everything in separate modules and we are configuring in separate modules. So in the another example here, let me keep this here. Yeah. In another example, what I have done is, this is another example. In another example, I created two files. One is category.ts. In that category.ts, only category related code will be there. Only category related code will be there. Okay. And we have another one, product.ts. In that only product related code will be there. So the product related code will be there. Okay, this is product related code. And we have app.js, same TS. Same previous example, we made some changes into it. In app.ts, we have to import those two libraries and we need to configure them. This is the basic example how we need to handle and manage. This is the concept of basic working with the module system. That means how we can handle and work with the module system. How to create a module, configuring a module, how to define the members for export, and how to import and how to use them in the project. Is it clear to everyone? Right? Is it clear? You understood the meaning of import, you understood the meaning of export, and you understood the meaning of default. Right? We are using export, default, and the functions. Currently, we are using the modules concept. So in object-oriented approach, one of the main concept is reusability, and building a library for reusing is very important. That is the key concept. Next important, after understanding modules, means basic, how to create a module. Now the next important is, in object-oriented programming, we need to understand contracts in OOP. We need to understand contracts. In object-oriented programming, we need to know about contracts. Technically, what is a contract and how the contract is configured or defined? For example, suppose you see, for example, so we have a database. We have a database. So like Oracle or some MySQL or MongoDB, some databases are there. We have some database systems, Oracle, MySQL, MongoDB, and all this. Now what should happen is, we have client, some client is there. So for client, we are developing an application. For client, we are developing an application. And for that application, it needs to store some data. And we need to create a database and connect to that application so that application can store its data inside the database. Now, as a database designer, in order to design the database for client application, what is the prototype that you have to refer? As a database designer, in order to prepare a database for client project, client application, what is the reference given to you? What is the reference given to you? By seeing that reference, you need to build the database. What is the reference given to you? Simply, you will build database just like that. Your own values, your own fields, your own imaginations. No. We have to build according to certain standards, requirements. Generally, if you already know databases, how to create tables and all, you might have learned that. If you are learning any database system, you might have learned that in order to prepare database, we don't directly prepare the database. We don't directly prepare the database. Before preparing the database, first we have to create some database models. Database models. We have database models like we have conceptual model. We have database models like physical model. We have like logical model. And we have like entity model. These are the database models, and that is the sequence also. Sequence of the models. Actually, if I have to build a database for any client application, first step, our developers will prepare a conceptual model. They will prepare a conceptual model. What is present in conceptual model? In conceptual model, it tells what are the modules that are required with the data. That means first step as a developer, you have to identify which module in that application needs data. Right? Every module in application may not need data. Only few modules need data. First, we need to identify the modules that need data and prepare the diagram for the modules that need data. We call that diagram as conceptual model. Generally, a conceptual model usually looks like this. For example, where is this? A conceptual model, roughly, it looks like this. I will show you a simple. A conceptual model usually looks like this. This is conceptual model. This is how a conceptual model looks like. This is conceptual model. This is the conceptual model. I'm just showing you a conceptual model of a sample project. And this is the conceptual model. In conceptual model, we will identify the modules that are required for data. That means which module needs data. We will identify those modules. Okay. Once this is designed, we will have a review team in projects in our company. That review team will verify whether this conceptual model is okay. According to client requirement, everything correctly gathered or not. Is it anything missing? So they will certify and they will say that, okay, this is final, you can go with this. Now, once it is certified, conceptual model is reviewed, then our team will prepare a physical model. In physical model, we will identify what data need to be stored for every module. That means table name, field name, data type, what data need to be stored, what type of data need to be stored, everything we will identify. And we will prepare a model called physical model. This is the physical model. In that data type, where table name, field names, everything will be there. Now a review team will review this. They will verify that we are not missing any field. They will verify that we are not mismatching the data type. They will verify that we are not adding any additional fields. Once This is also reviewed, final. This is also reviewed. Then our team will prepare a logical model. In logical model, our team have to identify relationship between the modules. Is there any relation required between modules? Is one module related to another module? Which module? All the relationships are identified in logical model. Once this is also final, verified, then our team will prepare an entity model. This is what you people call ER diagram, entity model. Entity model contains table name, field name, relationships, and everything. This is a contract for designing database. Understood? This is a contract for designing database. So you as a developer can't do anything extra other than what is given here. You can't even change the spelling. You can't even change the capitalization. You can't even change the data type exactly as how they have defined in the contract. You have to design. That is your job. That means in real world development, you will not have a scope of going outside the contract. Everything what is there in the contract, same you have to replicate. You cannot miss any field. You cannot add any field. You cannot change any data type. You cannot go with your own imaginations. That means for designing every component in a real world application, a contract is required. For designing any component, a contract is required. That means a contract actually, usually, technically, contract defines rules for designing a component. Contract defines rules for designing a component. Contract defines rules for designing a component. And in object oriented programming, in OOP, contracts are designed by using interface. If anybody asked you in object oriented programming interviews, Java, .NET or anywhere, what is the purpose of interface? You tell whatever you know about that, then, and you don't use the word contract. That means you are not an expert in programming. You are just a learner of programming. That means if anybody asks what is purpose of interface, then as an expert in software architecture, you have to say interfaces are used for designing contracts. That is the actual role of contract. That means why an interface is required in programming. Interface is required to design contracts. Interface contains the rules that tell how to design a component. And everything that you have defined in interface, you have to follow it. We have to follow it. So contracts means interfaces. That means architecturally, you should call interface as a contract. That means now you see here, very important now, you see, suppose I am doing this product. I am creating an object here, LET product. Product is an object. That means initially I said any type. In that we can store any value. That means, so name, actually it should be a string, but I am entering a number, it takes. So it should not be like this. We need a contract for this. That means it should be according to certain rules, certain standards. We need to design a contract. So what we have to do now, let's go to, so it should not be in this way. So what we have to do now, let's see, remove this. Okay. Now go to the project. In the project, in the library, I will go to library and add a new folder, another folder. I will give as contracts. contracts. I am adding a contracts folder. In that contracts folder, I will add a new file as product contract.ts. So in this product contract, we are designing a contract, and it should be used outside this module. Then we have to mark it as export. And contracts are designed by using interface. Interface contract name I given as product contract. You can give any name. That product contract, in that we need to define the rules for product. What are the rules for product? Basic. So many points are there. One by one, I will explore. One by one, we will see them. Lot of points are there. First point, here we need a name, and it should be, remember, contract must contain only rules. Only rules. It should not contain the definition for that rule. That means it should not contain implementation of rule. That means name is equal to TV. It is not valid. It is not valid because a contract can tell only rules. It cannot contain sample values. It cannot contain implemented values. It can tell only rules. So that means you need to just define the name and type. That's it. So a contract, suppose we have price, and this is number type. And we have like stock. This is Boolean type. These are options. Now we need to import this contract and use in our product. In product module, we want to use it. So what we have to do, import, we haven't marked as default. So we have to use product contract from contracts. From contracts, we have to import this product contract. Now I am designing an object here, product object here, TV. TV is an object. This TV object should implement, that means type. Its type should be product contract type is equal to. And according to product contract type, everything in the, see currently it is showing error. Why? Because it says that as per the contract, it should contain name, price and stock. And you are not having that, missing. That means it is mandatory that everything in the contract must be implemented. So that means what we have to mention, name. In the name, I am defining some Samsung TV. Okay. Still, we are missing with what is that? Price and stock. We are missing with price and stock. So we will mention price. I try string into it. It's not allowed. Why? Because it says that as per the rule, string is not assignable. Its type is number. That means you have to store a number only inside it. Still, your product is not ready because it is missing with the stock. That means every rule in a contract is mandatory. Exact. Later, I will tell you how to mention optional also. So now next one, we have stock. Stock, I put a Boolean, true. So that is working fine. That means your product is ready. Your product is ready. So this is ready. That means that product object is ready. Product object is ready. We can print that. What we will do, export function. What is the function? Product details. In that product details function, we have to print console.log. We have to print the details. What is that? Name. How to access the name? We have to access tv.name. Right? In the next line, I want to print price. So price, how to access tv.price. tv.price. I need to access that. In the next line, I have to add another stock. And here I put an expression here, tv.stock. Just details I am defining. I'm not using any additional thing, just the details we are configuring. Now, very important is, as per the contract, these three details are there. I try to add one more, quantity. So I try to add one more quantity, and it is 2. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. That means you have to follow the contract. So you cannot add anything, whatever you want. That means you cannot remove anything, whatever you want. You have to exactly follow the standards. So interface is used for designing contracts. And in the contract, whatever you configured is mandatory. And whatever you configured is only required. Anything additional is not allowed. We have a lot of other techniques also. We will discuss that. Initially, this is ready. Now we need to implement this in our app. In our app, we need to import that. What we have to do, import product details from that product. And here we are just using the product details. We are printing that function. Now let's compile and see. So tsc demo dot, this is app.ts, and we have node app.js. It will print all the details. We have a contract. So we have a object using that contract. We are printing that object details, assigning the values into it, and we are printing. So we have just learned how to design contracts. How do we design the contract? This is very basic. So many things are there. That means syntactically. So how you define? So export, you can use default also. So interface and interface name. And here it should contain the rules. We need to define the rules. That is the concept. So in the example, we have done this approach. In the example, we configured that and defined here. In the example, I add a new folder, that is contracts, and add a new file. So that is product contract.ts. In that product contract.ts, we are adding this logic. This is the product contract related logic. Just we are defining an option. Okay. Now this is the contract. Now what we have to do, go to modules in that product.ts. In product.ts, we need to import that contract and use it. We have to import that contract and define. This is the logic. We are importing the contract and we are implementing the contract for that object, and we are designing it. And in app, we have to add that. Just we have to go to app.ts. That file system already I given to you. In that app.ts, we need to import that product details and use it. That is the basic approach. This is one point you have learnt about contract. Now in contract, so many basics are there. You have just learnt how to design a contract. We have several things. We learned how to define rules for properties. We have rules for methods. We have optional rules. We have read-only rules. We can extend contracts. We can implement contracts. So many things are there. About contract, so many things are there. You have just learned the first point. Rules for properties. Now the methods, optional rules, read-only rules, extending, implementing, that we will see in our next session, right? In the next session, we will discuss about the other concept of the contracts. And these notes I will